Hey, what's up guys? It's Josh here from KeepItTechie, back again with another video to help you level up your skills, learn Linux, and manage your tech life a little smoother. And today we're checking out HomeBox, an open source home inventory manager designed for regular folks and homelabbers like me and you. And if you've ever tried to keep track of receipts, warranties, gadgets, and IoT gear with a spreadsheet, you know it gets out of hand real quick. HomeBox gives you a clean web UI, quick item entry, and attachment so the details you need aren't scattered in email or random folders. Now, before we jump in, do me a quick favor. Go down and tap that like button. It helps the channel get in front of more people who want to get into Linux and tech. And if you're new here, welcome. Consider subscribing so you don't miss any future content. First off, what is HomeBox? And right now I'm at the main site for it. And of course, I'll have the link down in the description of the video. It's a lightweight inventory and organization system written in Go. So that means it's super fast and easy on resources. And it's definitely great for a small server or VM or even something tiny in your home lab like a Raspberry Pi. Now, it's portable. The default database is SQLite, so you don't need to spin up Postgres unless you're scaling. It ships with an embedded web UI, so there's no extra front end to bolt on. You basically run it, open a browser, and you're in. And check this out, the project is in active development. And last I looked at it, it had a beta label on it, which to me says, expect frequent improvements and read the release notes when you update. The developer's goal is to keep migration smooth, but of course, always back up your data. Now, the big picture is if you want Snipe-IT level features from an enterprise, use Snipe-IT. But if you want a simple, focused tool to manage home assets without a cognitive overload, HomeBox hits that sweet spot right in the middle. Here's a quick comparison. So spreadsheets, they're fine for a dozen items, but then filtering, attachments, and consistency files are important. Now, Snipe-IT is incredible for IT asset management system in businesses, but it's more than most home users need and more moving parts to maintain. Now, HomeBox, it has a fast setup, minimal overhead, and built-in ways to store the details you actually use at home, like purchase dates, serial numbers, warranty PDFs, manuals, tags, and like the location where that asset is stored. And so that's why I'm showing it to you guys, because it's low friction and useful immediately. Now, let's hop over to my virtual machine so I can walk you guys through install and setup. It's very simple. I'm gonna use Docker, and you guys know I got my Docker script on my site that I always share with you guys, and we'll run through that and get it set up. What's up, y'all? If you've been watching my channel for a minute, you already know I stay talking about Linux. And if you're looking for a solid, reliable enterprise Linux distro, let me put you on to Rocky Linux. This is the go-to replacement for CentOS, and it's built for the community by the community. It's got everything you need for a stable and secure Linux experience, whether you're running servers, home labs, or enterprise workloads. And the best part, it's backed by CI/CD, making sure it stays rock solid for the long haul. So if you're tired of these companies pulling a plug on your favorite distros, Rocky Linux is where you need to be. And I've covered Rocky Linux before, and trust me, it's worth checking out. So head over to rockylinux.org to learn more and get started. Keep it techie. Peace. All right, cool. So this is my desktop. I'm logged in via SSH to our server that will set up HomeBox on. And it's Ubuntu 24.04, which it really doesn't matter what distro you're using, because you can install Docker on pretty much anything. But I just wanted to use my script to make it a whole lot simpler for you guys. And so I got up my website. And in order to find that script, all you have to do is go up here to the search, hit Docker, and then I think it's down here. Yeah, Docker and Docker Compose. So this is the script right here. Just go to that site. And if you scroll down at the bottom, now this kind of breaks it all out for you, what the script actually does. So it's kind of open source. You can view all the code. The code is, it's on my GitHub somewhere. I'll link that down in the description as well if you want to check it out. But all you got to do is use wget. So let's copy the script. So right click copy, and then on our server, once you're connected to it, just type wget, and then we can paste that link in there, press enter. That'll download the script. Only takes a second. Then you can change the permissions on it to make it executable by putting +X and then install, and then that activates the script for you, and now you can actually just run it quickly. So this will get Docker installed for you guys super quick, especially if you're using Ubuntu Debian based. This actually adds the PPA and it gets the latest version of Docker for you and Docker Compose. And so I'll be back when it's finished. All right, so it's installed. We can go down and get rid of our sites. And of course I have that link, like I said earlier, down in the description of the video, so you can get to the script if you need to. One of the first things you need to do is make a directory. And I'll show you guys that. We can make it under our op directory. So we can go sudo make dir -p and our op directory, and then let's just make a folder called HomeBox, and then press enter. That'll create our directory for us. Now HomeBox expects to write to a data directory within the container, which is mapped in that ops and HomeBox directory. And one thing we need to do, which is very important, is set the ownership for the container user to that directory. And the UUID is 65532. So let's go down and modify the ownership of that directory. So HomeBox has ownership. And so all we have to do is type sudo ch and then -r, which we really don't need it because nothing is in there yet, but 65532, and then port 65532. And then we want to specify that directory. So the op directory and then that HomeBox directory. And we want to set that as owned by basically HomeBox or the container itself. So let's go ahead and press enter. That'll change the ownership there. And now we can run the container with the correct port mapping by using a simple Docker run command. I already have it written out. I'll just paste it in there so you guys can see it, and I'll walk you guys through it before I press enter. So run -d for detached. The name of it, we're going to name it HomeBox. We're going to restore it. So if the computer shuts down, it'll restart HomeBox for us. I went on and set up a time zone for it. And then our ports, this is the port you want to connect to, so it's 3100. Of course, you can modify that if you need to. If you're running a bunch of Docker containers and you need to use a different port, then just specify that different port here. And then also under our op directory, it has ownership, and this is where it will store its data. And then also this is our container. So we want to pull the latest copy of HomeBox. So just go down and press enter. Just use that tag latest and you'll be good to go. And that's one thing I forgot about my script. I still need to fix that. So sudo ch and then dash lowercase a, capital G, and then I need to add my user to the Docker group. Totally forgot about that, but let's go down and do it right fast. And forgive me because I'm all over the place, but it's sudo user mod, not chmod. So sorry about that. And then dash lowercase a, capital G, and then we want to add our user to the Docker group. Press enter. That'll add us to the group, and then we need to exit out and then connect back. And now we have permissions to run Docker commands without having to type sudo in. And you can also check your group information by just typing groups, and that'll show you all the groups that you're using. So you got Docker and all the other groups, sudo group, you know, all that stuff. So let's go down and run our Docker command again. Let's copy and paste it in there. Boom and boom. We can get it to run. Unable to find the image locally, so that means it's gonna pull it down and then start up the container. And it's super simple, man. And the one thing you can do is verify that it's responding. So you can type curl dash capital I, and then you type http://. And while we're on the server, we can use localhost, and then we can type in the port, which is 3100, and press enter. And as you can see, we got code 200. So that means that it's responding. And then we can exit out of our server because we don't need it anymore, but we can also run the curl command as well, but using the IP address. So just want to quickly show you guys that. So curl dash capital I, and then http://, and then we type in the IP address, which we know what it is. So find out what your IP address is, and then put your port in there. So 3100. And we really don't have to do this. We can just go to the site. I'm just running it just to make sure. And we don't have curl on here, so let's just ignore that. Anyway, we wrote out our link, so let's just go to it. Let's open up the browser and go to our site, and boom, what's going on? Now, the first thing with HomeBox, once you have it up, you have to create a account, and that first account you create is going to be the admin account, and it basically owns the server. So if you're doing this in the cloud, or if you got this somewhere stored somewhere where it has public access, get in here as soon as possible, create the account, because you're leaving it open so someone can come in here and just register and they have admin access. Now, of course, you could just shut down the Docker container, rebuild it, but still, you don't want nobody accessing it. So just go on, hit that register button, and this will ask you for an email address. So I'm gonna type KeepItTechie@gmail.com, and then let's type Josh as my name. And then let's create something super simple for me to remember. I'll even make it strong and just hit register. And we're not going to save this. And let's go down and type in our passwords so we can log right into it. And no, I don't want to save it. All right, so this is HomeBox. As you can see, it's a simple interface. I'm gonna make it super huge so you guys can see it a little better and just break all this down for you. So first things up, we got our quick statistics. This tells you the total value of the assets you have within your inventory, total amount of items, total locations, and it creates some generic locations for you. And you can see those locations down here, but then you also have labels that it creates, and it generates those down here as well. You can add to your locations. And then this is where it'll show your recently added inventory items. And then, like I said, your storage locations. So it comes with like attic, basement, bathroom, which I'm not storing any of my electronics in the bathroom, but bedroom, garage, kitchen, living room, office. And I don't know about you guys, but I have a lot of devices around here, like Raspberry Pis. I got Google devices connected to my TVs, and all the stuff to entertain my family when they have free time and stuff from school, work, or whatever. So anyway, just to walk through each part of the menu. Up here is create. I'm gonna leave that for last, but we got locations. This is where you can see all your locations, and you can actually click on them and they'll show you the items that are stored there. And then let's go back, and then we can search as well. You can search for all your items, which we don't have anything in here yet. And then profile. This is how you manage your profile. So you can invite other users to input stuff into your server by generating an invite link. Now, I haven't tried this, so I'm assuming it works because based on the documentation, they say it works. So you can also create notifiers. This is your group settings. So for one, you can set up your currency. So you know how I showed you guys the amount that you had at the top? You can specify it for other forms of currency. So if you live in a different place, it's good for that. And that's pretty much all the group settings that's there right now. I'm sure they're going to add more in. And now for the fun part down here, I really like this part, is the theming. And you guys know I like a dark theme, but they got stuff even for the girls out there, you know what I'm saying? So if your girl has one, she has an account, she can set up a pink one. It says Valentine, but I got to keep it manly. You know what I'm saying? I got to get the black with the gold. That's the one I like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like what Wesley Snipes said in Passenger 57, always bet on black. I'm joking. But yeah, they got some nice color themes in here. I like this one right here, the business one. That one's super cool. And I'll roll with that one for right now. Right now, you can't really modify a lot of this stuff. Like as far as like the images, I'm not sure if you can or not. I haven't seen an option. Maybe you can go in and modify the container yourself and add images into it. I'm not 100% sure. And then also you can contribute to it if you figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Go down and clone a project and work on it and see if you can create a pull request if you fix something like that, where you can modify the top image. You can modify this if you want to make it look how you want it to look, if you can, or if they even want to allow that. But then let's go down to the next one. This is our tool. So it generates a lot of reports for you, or a couple reports for you. So you can get asset ID labels. You can label all your assets that you have using a ID label here. And then also, bill of materials. So generate a TSV. This is a tab, separated values file that you can import into Excel or LibreCalc. And this is a summary of your inventory with basic items and pricing information. Now for the import export. So you can import the inventory. This will make it simple. Like if you already have a spreadsheet, and make sure you look on their site to see exactly how it needs to be formatted for you to import it. But for sure, it needs to be in a CSV format. And, in Excel or LibreCalc, you can export to CSV. And then you can just upload it, as long as you fix it however they need it in order to go in there. And you can also export the inventory. So you can export the inventory and it'll have the titles of the tables. And then you can just add all your information that way. And then let's say you need to add receipts or anything else like that, you can come back to the site once you import it in and add all that. for all of your assets. And then we got inventory actions right here. Ensure asset ID, ensures import refs, 0 items, date, time. You can set a primary picture. And so I believe that may be coming soon. Now, let me show you guys how to add to your inventory. So let's go under here. Let's hit create, and you have all those options that we talked about earlier on the homepage. So you got your items and assets. That's basically just adding whatever your assets are, your locations, and then your labels. Now they have some good locations in there, or at least a location that I can use, that I want to use to show you guys how to use it. So let's click in here and create one right fast. And the parent location, we can specify where it's located, and we'll use the office, and I'll just name it. I'm gonna just specify my computer, my desktop computer, and let's put a space in here. And also let's just put a little info in here. So let's say custom build CPU, and then like Arch Linux is installed on it. And then let's add a little bit more information under our options. And I just pulled up some quick information from the terminal and just paste that in there just to have a little something in here with the host. That's the motherboard. We got the processor in there. We got our GPUs. I just put all that information in there, the memory, and then our storage devices that are on here. So how many drives I got, as well as how they're configured a little bit. And then a total storage space on there. I'm just putting something in there just so you guys can see something. Now, as far as the labels, you can go in here and add multiple labels if you want to. So let's say this is electronics, obviously, and important. Let's make that. And then let's go down and hit create. And let me hit that down arrow, but you can create and add more. That's a cool option that's in there. But let's just hit create, because we're only going to create that one item. Now, one cool thing about it, it has one of these. It says page URL, but you can scan that using your phone. You can get to that page, which is super cool. So if you got this thing publicly accessible, or if your phone is on your network and you want to pull it up, you know, you can click on that and it'll take you to the page URL. It creates that. And that's super dope. You can go down in here. You can modify the quantity. You can add the serial number. Well, basically what this does right here is list out all the information about the actual item that you put in, or the asset that you put in. And now the way to edit it, you have to go over to edit. And let me just show you guys the maintenance right fast. So you can add maintenance to this system. So let's say you want to track you taking your computer out and blowing the dust out of it. This is super cool, right? You could have scheduled maintenance, you know what I'm saying? And if you completed it, you know what I'm saying? And track all of that. So that's super cool. And then also right here, we have our edit, and this allows you to edit everything up in here. Now, it doesn't show you everything right off, and I just want to show you guys that, but you got basic information. So you got your serial number, your model number, manufacturer, notes. If it's insured, and let's say you want to archive it because maybe you sold the product, then you can archive it, but it'll still have an asset ID, and it generates those asset IDs for you. So this is our first asset that we added to our database. In order to look at the rest of the options that you have to click this toggle, and it'll turn on the advanced options. And this will show you, because you probably like, how do I put the amount that this thing is worth or something like that? Well, they hide a lot of those options right off for some reason. I think it makes it cleaner, but if you scroll down, you can see all the rest of the options. So like right here, you can add all your attachments. So if you have some warranty documentation that you want to save, or the receipt, if you want to save it, that way you'll always have access to it, long as you have access to your server that you have set up. All that'll be stored in the database. And then you purchase from, so you can put all that information in there. That way you know who to go back to if you can return it. Let's say you only got 3 months or something to return a product. You can put the purchase date in here and the purchase location. That way you know exactly where to take it back to. Receipt and all that stuff is up here, so you can turn it back in. Then your warranty information, that's why you put a lot of that in there. It expires on what date, whatever. Just add that in there in the notes. And then also, let's say you sold the item. So you could put some information in here on who you sold it to, and the price you sold it to, and the date that you sold it. So that's super cool. You know what I'm saying? And now let me scroll back up. Oh yeah, I missed it. But purchase price. Let's say you want to add the amount this thing is worth. So I'm gonna put $1,500, and you can put a date in there. Let's say I bought this thing 9/2/2023. I don't know. I don't even remember when I bought this computer. But anyway, you can hit save there. You make those changes. And as you can see, it added that 1500 for us, and it took us back to our details page, and it'll show that information for you. And then if we go back to our home page, I just wanted to show you guys something in there, but it'll show you, it'll calculate or tally your total value of all your items. Right now we only got one, so if you got, of course, a whole lot more, it's going to show up in there. It's going to tabulate that amount, and then your total items, and then your total locations and total labels. Now check this out. You can click on Office and you see all your items right in here. And then you can also modify how they look. If you go over here, you can show the chart, which is what it's showing now, or you can show a table. So it's all on you how you want to look at it and all that good stuff. And so that's HomeBox. All right, so that wraps up our tutorial on HomeBox. Like I said, it's lightweight, fast, and really well designed for home users who want to keep their stuff organized without the overhead of enterprise level software. Now, I'll keep experimenting with it, and this is something that I have running in a Docker container in my Homelab to manage all the assets that I have. And if new features drop, I'll definitely come back and cover them in another video. And if you found this video useful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to KeepItTechie. I've got a ton more Linux, open source, and Homelab content coming your way. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe, stay secure, and of course, keep it tech. Yo, what's up, y'all? Listen, if you've been sitting there thinking about making a move, let me tell you, tech is where it's at. I don't care where you coming from, whether you've got a degree, a GED, or just pure hustle. There's room for you in this game. You see, tech is more than just keyboards and code. It's solving problems, creating opportunities, and building the future. You already have what it takes because tech doesn't care where you start. It cares where you're willing to go. You can teach yourself Linux, learn Python, break into cybersecurity, or even launch your own app. And the resources are out here for free. And yes, you heard me, free. Now, yeah, it's gonna take effort. You'll have to grind, but think about this. The time is gonna pass anyway. So why not invest it in a skill that'll change your life? I mean, tech doesn't just pay the bills, it opens doors to freedom, stability, and generational wealth. So stop doubting yourself, start small, stay consistent, and keep building. Because this isn't just a career, it's a movement. And guess what? You belong here. So let's get it, because the future is yours to build. Keep it tech.
Wow.